Oh my goodness. Here we are, post Elevate and Inspire event. I'm back. I know we took a couple weeks off there as we got into crunch time with the in-person live event that we hosted in Norfolk, Virginia last week. This episode is going to be just the post wrap up, how I'm feeling, how everything went. I'm going to share all the juicy details with you. And we have our debrief scheduled for tomorrow, but I really wanted to wrap up everything from my perspective and how I'm feeling and whether this was a success, whether we'll be doing it again. I'm going to spill all the tea. Welcome back to the Messy Success Podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Henson. This podcast is your space, your corner of the world to be messy, creative, and ambitious as you want to be. I'm incredibly passionate about helping people do what they love and make a living doing it. We all know that is a messy process, but the messy imperfection, the messy success is what makes it all so beautiful. I'm here to help you build community around your brand so that marketing is easy. There's no such thing as a self-made millionaire, in my opinion. We're all in this together. We shine the light on others, focus on leadership. And our theme here for 2024 is the 1% adventure, where we're getting 1% better every single day. So what do you say we get started? All right. So if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, then you know that this event, Elevate, Inspire, was kind of a big deal, kind of expansive for me. It was that big, scary thing that I wanted to back out of. I did a whole episode on, how I really wanted to kind of give in to my fears and do something smaller that felt easier. But I knew that I would have to become a totally different version of myself to pull this off, right? And that was very exciting to me. So a week ago today, which is crazy how fast that week went, all my friends started flying in. We had a beach house in Sandbridge for about 10 of us, with most people staying in the beach house were coming in from far away. So that was what I decided to do to of all, just keep us together for more time together. But I was really trying to help my friends that were traveling across the country, make this trip realistic because the hotels by the venue are very expensive. So everyone checked into the beach house about a week ago. And that was really the hardest part for me was that the house we were staying in was 45 minutes from the actual venue. We hosted the event at Assembly Norfolk, which is a beautiful co-working space, and it worked out awesome, better than I could have even envisioned for the event. And the breakout sessions were all in these really cute offices and locations on site. It was great. So everyone flew in on Wednesday. One of the best CEO decisions I made was actually getting access to the house on Tuesday. So originally I was going to check into the house the same time as everyone else. But I decided, looking at the amount of stuff that I had and the amount of things that I still had to do, my friend Jamie got here last Monday. I was like, let's just make a CEO decision and get the house early so that we can have everything ready, by the time everyone gets there. And then I'll really be able to be present and enjoy their company. And that was one of the best things that I could have done. I honestly couldn't even imagine pulling it all together last minute on Wednesday. So that was definitely a huge takeaway that if we do anything similar again, I need to remember how valuable it was to have access to the house or the location a day early. So Wednesday night into Thursday. Thursday was day one of the event. I did not sleep. I had not slept in like 4 days. And when I say I didn't sleep, I did lay down. I did attempt to sleep. And it wasn't like a nervous energy. It was like my brain just going over, what am I forgetting? What do I still need to do? What am I going to say to really set the tone for the event? And that was like the one thing that I really felt like a weight or pressure that I was putting on myself to like really nail it, that first impression, right? That's so important when you go to an event. That first impression, that first session, whatever it might be, is setting the tone for the entire event. And I knew that was like so important that I nailed it. So I just really, the couple of days leading up to it, did not sleep a lot, which is fine. I was totally prepared for that. My adrenaline took over. I'm honestly shocked at how much energy I was able to carry through like the entire 3 days. I've been taking really good care of myself, and I feel like it just paid off, and my adrenaline just did the job. So Thursday morning, I got up at like 5, which is, 2 hours earlier than my normal. I'm like a 7 o'clock riser, and I take my shower in the morning and I'm getting ready. Everything's going great. We get to the venue. The chairs were a little heavier than I remembered. So thank goodness we had our subflow gentlemen on site. We had Craig and Mitch on site who helped me get the chairs set up. I don't know what I would have done without them, because I had no like event team as far as like people to just like do stuff and move stuff. It was all, my business team, or other speakers were helping. These women in the house were helping. Everyone helped, thank goodness. Because again, it's like, I didn't purposely say, oh, I'm not going to bring in people to help me with tables and chairs. It just like didn't really feel necessary, because I knew that we could do it ourselves. This is a like really small, adorable room. I knew it was possible, but these are all things, again, that I'm going to be considering as we go into this again. So Thursday morning, we welcomed everyone in, and I just got in my zone. My hands were not even shaking. I couldn't believe it. I wasn't sweating profusely like I thought I would. It's like something took over and everything just flowed so easily. And I really felt like I nailed it. That first impression, that first, here's how the event is going to go type of vibe. And it was just like uphill from there on. I was like, I know if I can just make it to lunch on Thursday, like all the jitters will be gone. I'll be kind of like settled into this host role. And it did. And everything just exceeded my expectations beyond my wildest dreams. Everyone was a little quiet at first, but, thank goodness for Jeff, the school of Jeff. Jeff really set the tone for being open and vulnerable and, sharing our takeaways. And I set up a wall where we wrote down a list of asks and a list of gives. And that gave people really, really great ways to start conversations at the event. I don't need to get into like the nitty gritty of what all the different activities were and what all the different talks were, but it just was great. And as far as like the content, the speakers, all the reviews have been fabulous. People had some major transformations, major takeaways. Any constructive feedback that we've gotten has been more along the lines of, break times and the setup of the room and things that really have very little to do with the content. So I will take it. I will gladly take all that feedback and run with it and just celebrate that we were able to help so many people. And the final count for the room was around 55, which I think was pretty darn perfect for that space. I think had we been closer to the 80 people mark, the room would have been really, really, really tight. So I think everything worked out exactly as it should, exactly as it was meant to. The follow-ups have been incredible. The collaborations that I'm seeing with people that were at the event, the amount of people that either said yes or approached me on like, how do we keep this going? Yeah, my expectations have just been wildly exceeded past my biggest dreams. And then, at the end of the event, I decided to pitch my group coaching program. And all of these months leading up to the event, I knew I was going to sell something, like that would be crazy for me not to, but it really was not at the forefront of my mind. I just completely trusted the ripple effect that this event would bring. And it was never about turning a big profit. It was like, let me just not go into the hole over this event. Let me do the best I can to break even. And just trust that this is my opportunity to show the world, what I can do and how I can help people, and to really trust the ripple effect of that. And I said, if I end up selling something from stage, then that's bonus, that's icing on the cake, but it really was not at the forefront of the planning of this event. So 2 days before, I was like, okay, I got to figure this out. Like, what slide am I going to pull up? How am I going to talk about the group coaching program in a way that invites people to continue their journey? And I knew I didn't want to go up there with this big, long pitch for my $4,000 program. Like, it's the end of the day. People are tired. I just wanted to extend the information that they would need to decide if they want to work with me. And here's what I decided to do. And I'm sharing this with you guys for a couple reasons. I'm sharing this with you because it was an experiment and I want you guys to hack it because it worked. And just a little bit of behind the scenes on how my brain pulls this stuff all together. And I know I am way more, I trust my intuition. I make very quick, kind of messy decisions all the time. And that's okay. That's my brand. That's what we do here. I don't really get stuck in the details. So what I decided to do was just to set up an I'm ready checkout link. And what this means is like, I'm ready to work with you, Elizabeth. I'm ready to take this to the next level. That got them a 90-minute strategy call with me, which is significantly less than an hour strategy call with me would usually cost. And it gets them a seat to the event next year. And it gives them that opportunity to decide if the group coaching program is right for them. And I ended up getting 7 yeses from stage, which is crazy awesome because by the time we got to that point of the event, there was probably only about 35 people in the room. But people had already been saying, like, how do I keep this going? Like, this has been the best energy I've ever absorbed in my entire life. Like, how do I keep this going? So I knew it was the right thing to do. I just got a notification on my phone. Let's make that 8. I knew I had to at least extend people the invitation to continue. So that felt really good and really natural. And I showed them a little bit about the group program and how we work through 4 different phases of business building and how we keep track of all the students and what that looks like. But really, I was just trying to get them to lean into that heck yes energy. And it totally worked. And this week, I'm like kind of serving through those 90-minute coaching calls and into next week. And then some people are waiting until summer or fall, which is awesome. But just exceeded my wildest dreams of what could be possible. And I know so much of that is like the expansion, the stepping outside of my comfort zone so far that I had to level up and become someone else to do all of this. And it was already there. Like, somewhere deep inside, we all know what we're capable of. It's just, how do we tap into that? Okay, so the event was a crazy success. We had so much fun. We celebrated on Saturday with the Mastermind VIP group. My sister-in-law brought dessert charcuterie boards, which were incredible. And it was really fun to celebrate totally guilt-free because I earned every bit of that, right? Oh my gosh. And now let's talk a little bit about these emotions after the event, because I really thought that I would just be exhausted and check out or celebratory mode. And I wasn't as tired as I thought until my adrenaline carried me the whole way through until I got home on Sunday. And that's when my body was and now you can rest. And today is Wednesday, and my energy is completely fine in the mornings, but I can still tell that my body is playing catch up. I can even tell that my voice is still a little bit tired as I'm recording this podcast. My body's still playing a little bit of catch up. And today I'm going to get back into my exercise routine, because I know that's going to be one of the best ways to kind of bring my energy back. But what I didn't expect was a lot of my emotions kind of being at war, right? And I don't really know how to explain this, but there's the expansive side of me, and then there's my ego, or the part of me that's trying to keep me safe, the part of me that's a little scared of that expansion. And it's almost like I can feel these two versions of myself at war a little bit. The expansion of, this is what you've always been capable of. It's always been yours. We're going to help so many people. And then the other version of myself being this is too good to be true. This isn't happening. They're all going to cancel, all of those, not good enough emotions that are not always present for me. They're always present, but I'm so, good at keeping them at bay. Thanks, brain, for keeping me safe, but we're going to continue to do all these amazing things, right? Those voices are a little bit louder, and I think it's because the expansion is bigger. So doing a little bit of work around my energy there, and kind of leaning into people that I know can help me manage just some of those mental and emotional feelings, but also what I'm feeling in my physical body. And again, this is all because of a lot of the work that I've done, being able to even recognize that that's what's happening and not, be total high highs and low lows. I'm very even keeled, and I'm just noticing. I just have the self-awareness to say, okay, I can see and feel what's happening, and let's continue to explore the tools that I need to remain as high vibe as possible. And you guys, I've done an episode on that high vibration and what I mean by that. Just staying in emotions and beliefs that continue to serve my highest self, right? So that is so exciting, right? There's so many ways that this could have been a total flop. There were some interesting moments. There was some lessons learned, but really the overarching consensus is that this was wildly successful beyond my whatever I could have imagined. And I just want to bottle that up because I'm so grateful to everything that made it possible, from my family helping to, my friends flying in, Jamie and Lindsay, my two best friends, just being there and supporting however they could. I'm just, as usual, bursting with gratitude excited for all the things that it's going to bring. I knew 2024 was going to be my best year yet, and it already has been. So yeah, just like really like soaking in all of those big expansive feelings. And we will be taking some time off this summer. So typically with the podcast, I take summers off and Christmas time. So we'll see. I have a couple interviews I want to do, a couple things I want to power through. I'm going to batch what I can in May so that hopefully we can continue to put out episodes as much into the summer as possible. But don't be surprised if we just, have a little hiatus during the summer. That's totally normal. But I am definitely here. I am around. I cannot wait to hear from all of you and just to continue to lean into the magic that we have built. Oh, and one last thing. You know how I always say, and my coach James always says, that action creates clarity. This is a cool thing that I did not even see coming, was the clarity that I would find for myself after the event. So my group coaching program was called the Community Growth Lab CMO Accelerator. Like, here's how you become the chief marketing officer of your own business. And part of me knew that was not going to be what this would always be called. But I don't get stuck in the names. I named Elevate and Inspire literally the same day I was sending out my first promotional email about it. I was like, well, I guess we need a name. And the group coaching program is kind of the same way. Like, I gave it a name, but I knew it wasn't what it was always going to be. And it just dawned on me with such clarity that my program's going to be called Elevate. It just makes so much sense. It's like an extension of Elevate and Inspire, the event. And it just makes so much sense to call it Elevate and to really lean into not just the marketing, but the expansion, the group coaching, and helping all these women elevate their business. So that was really cool to see that clarity and even more clarity around what the group coaching program looks like, and continue to just make it the best community and the best thing that I've ever built for my business and to help as many people as we possibly can. So thank you guys for listening. I apologize that my voice is a little shaky and tired. We are getting through this. I guess I need to go do some chakra work, right? I still need to learn about all that stuff. But I appreciate you guys so much for listening. This is episode 151. So I'm going to put some really great stuff in the show notes, some links from the event. If you guys were at the event and you're listening to this, I'll put Subflow, Interact. I know Megan has a replay of her breakout. Renee has sent a replay or a special code from her breakout. So I'm just going to put all those links in the show notes so that we have them in one place for this special wrap up episode. And thank you guys so, so, so much. I'm just extending buckets and buckets of gratitude out to you guys and out to the world. And I will see you guys very soon.